Still there.
Good evening and welcome to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, City of Fayetteville, Tennessee. This is a special called meeting March the 23rd, 2026. Calling the meeting to order, and you have been provided an agenda. Are there any corrections or changes to this agenda? If not, that will stand as presented. I see no one in the audience for public comments. We have no unfinished business, and we'll move straight into new business. Our first item on the agenda is funding for fire station number 2 of drainage issues. And I'm going to turn this over to David Bergman, Chief Fireman.
Sorry to block.
You getting that seat after all?
All right, Jonathan's working. We'll talk a little bit about what I prepared for us. Well, it came on, but you got it right off. There you go. Perfect. All right, so we were talking about the repairs at Station 2. This come out, we've been working on this project for a few months, just trying to figure out how to repair it. Come about Christmas time, we realized we really needed to do something very quickly. We had a heavy rainfall and flooded our bays. Well, our Christmas toys were in the bay for the Christmas toy drive. So we started looking at things, me and Jack and myself, we started really trying to figure out what we could do to fix the problem and how the steps. Well, we come together saying, let's get curbers involved because they're the experts of drainage. So when they looked at it, he said, yeah, you have multiple problems. And he kind of broke them down into projects, but he told us what the main problem was, and he said, you need to fix all of them. He said, but here's what is very high level, and if you fix this one without fixing this one, here's what's going to happen. We'll dive into it. The first project, did everybody see that? Mm-hmm. All right, the first project is, how he said number 1 was the back parking lot, and you'll see it later on in the slides where it's undersized drain in the back parking lot. And all the water sheds from the back of the jail down to the fire station, and it all tunnels back to the south corner of the building. This is a worst case scenario, and man, what a gap in the price. It's $3,000 to $22,500. He says he's not too sure how many feet of pipe it needs to change. The pipe that is laid in there now is a corrugated 15-inch pipe. He recommends going back with a concrete where it's a smooth, so you can maintenance it, clean it out with a fire hose and stuff like that. Plus the corrugated pipe is life, he says about 15 to 17 years. Project 2 is one of our main problems, and I've got some pictures to show you on that as well. That is the entryway into the fire station 2. This is changing the culvert, digging it up, replacing it with a concrete culvert, cleaning out the ditch lines, and also coming back with reinforced concrete. So we always have to get Jack to come out and patch our front of our entryway. I guess all the water comes in there and freezes, chips up our asphalt. So that will fix that problem as well. Then the last project, and you'll see it a little bit on into this our presentation, is the pit. What the pit is we used it for pump testing years ago. It's about an 8-foot by 20-foot hole in the ground. It has block up it with a cap on it. We would fill it up with water, hook our fire trucks up to it, and we'd run our pump testing. Well, we have transitioned to a third-party company for better record keeping and accurate testing. Not that we can't do it, it's just a little bit easier and a whole lot more efficient that a third party, if something comes wrong, they have that validation on that The problem we were experiencing with it, we'd fill it up in the morning time, by lunchtime it was empty. So that water was going somewhere from that pit. And we felt like it might be going under our station or hopefully to the side of the station. So we stopped using that completely, and this is the estimate of saying, hey, we're gonna tear that pit down, break up some of the fill it with about 80 tons of rock, let it settle before we come back with a concrete cap. Concrete cap is not figured into this quote. And the city, to get better price on rock, Jack has said his guys could haul the rock for us so we get a better price on it through the county. This picture here is looking out to the road from the entryway. You can see some deterioration happening right here. But this whole part right here will be the reinforced concrete once he excavates it and puts the rebar in it and the new tile. This picture here is, of course, looking north on the south side of the ditch. You can see the elevation changes in the ditch line. That the whole culvert is almost covered up with soil. So what happens is when the water goes into this ditch, it cannot get out of the ditch. So it fills up and it backs all my lines up all the way to the back of the station. Same way looking north or looking south, standing on the north side, you can tell as well that you can barely see the culvert as well. This is another close-up shot just showing how much elevation is right here. I wish I could tell you how old that actual culvert is, but I cannot. I know it's over 18 years old. And of course, there's another little closer picture. These are kind of redundant, but this is actually looking into the culvert itself. You can kind of see where some of the pipe is starting to deteriorate. But he said, Carver said about 40% of the volume was blocked in this pipe. He said, changing back to a concrete, they won't have these ridges. So, again, further maintenance, you can blow it out with a fire hose. And of course, we can do that maintenance. This picture here is going to show you what the transition is going to look like. We had to do this in front of our bays because those heavy fire trucks, when they pull out on the asphalt, they start to sink. So we had to do the reinforced concrete coming out of the bays. And that's what that transition is going to look like. Here's one of the other main problems. This is the drain. If you can tell in the picture, that's a small drain for the big parking lot at Station 2. There's a zoom-in picture of the outlet pipe. Again, I keep stressing it, but wet, undersized. There's a little bit closer picture. This is just showing where that pipe goes. It comes in here and tees right there where it says water flow, and it runs all the way to the street. This is the opening. Of course, you can tell the soil is starting to block it up, so Carver's going to clean this out and, of course, put shod rock back around it. And I recommend it go all the way to the road with concrete so we won't have to experience this. This pipe here, I know, is probably 2015 to 2017 is when it was replaced. This picture here shows you how high the water gets from the back parking lot to the back of our station. So this area here shows that we've had water up to here. What does that look like in the bay? Excuse the boxes, these are toys boxes. But this is what our bays look like. It has not reached inside the station yet, and I use the key word yet. We have been very lucky. So here's a picture of what the water looks like when it's raining. This is not a very heavy rainfall, but you can kind of, if you really pay attention, you can see how the water's flowing down and coming from the back parking lot and meeting back to that little small oversized drain, or undersized drain. And here's a picture of it with no precipitation. You can see how everything slopes down to that drain. That drain's like over in this corner here. I mentioned the pump testing pit. Here's a picture of that. I know it's a little bit easier to put a picture to words. What is a pump testing pit? And I've got like 4 or 5 pictures of it that just goes around it. You can just see where we used to hook our lines up to this, and we'd sit here and pump, fill that pit full of water, and we'd pump for like 20, 30 minutes for each apparatus. And here's what it looks like inside. It's got a baffle, two spaces with a baffle in between it. So Kerber's is talking about taking all this above here, busting up real small, filling it in, then taking roughly 80 tons of gravel to fill it back in. And I've got on the remove the light pole. This is not in this scope, but I wanted y'all to let y'all know that eventually we will remove that light pole. If we get this project approved, this will allow our fire apparatus to really use that back parking lot a whole lot better to pull into the bay instead of backing in. It's just a little bit easier to safety concerns, honestly. Instead of backing, you always want to go forward. They say the most wrecks happen backing instead of driving forward. Is there any questions on the project?
So the point of the pit is
Mhm.
because we don't know for sure if the water is going under the building
That's
or if
correct.
we don't know where it's going.
I don't know where it's going. And it's not feasible to fix the pit because we don't use the pit no more. And I feel like it would probably be close to the same money fixing it as tearing it down.
How much was the estimate of removing the pit?
7,000.
And then the water runoff into the bays
Mhm.
coming from the back of the property,
That is correct.
and you want to increase the drain size
Mhm.
right there. So explain to me, the culverts on the front
Mhm.
don't have anything to do with the water in the bays?
They do. So the culverts in the front are not allowing the water that comes from the back to go on down the street. So with the ones at the main entryway, he says that is our main problem. And because once the water comes from the,
So it's not the drains, it's a combination of drain size and exit water once it's
That's
out there?
correct.
Okay.
so they're gonna have to redo that whole ditch line and make sure the water can go on down.
Yeah.
And me and Jack have talked together, we can get with our partners and we'll do the labor, but blowing out the rest of the drains all the way to the road.
So what about the adjoining properties? I think there's a assisted living right next. What are their culverts look like? Are we just gonna back up and then come back to us?
Well, the
or-
water flows all back towards Winchester Highway.
Okay.
So all that property there is city-owned. It might be a different entity running it. So I don't feel like we're gonna have any problems with our partnership, blowing them out, letting us do that.
Okay, I guess I'm asking, are the culverts also degraded?
Yeah, it's, theirs, you can barely even see there's a culvert there. But luckily, the water's going the other way. If it was going that way, I feel like we're probably having a different conversation, far as with our partner, our neighbors, I really do.
That's probably the question you're trying to ask.
Yeah, the
Are
ones
we-
towards
are we
the Winchester.
Are we transferring our problem to somebody?
No, we're not.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're not. We're actually, again, like I said, the water's flowing a different way, and all that is city property all the way down to the parks.
Yeah, I guess my question is if we don't solve the ones down towards the city parks, are we just backing it back up to us?
No, I don't feel like they're a problem. I think
Okay.
we're just using it as preventative maintenance,
Okay.
so we can just help our situation even more.
Okay.
But I have seen it where, when heavy rain falls, that whole ditch line would just be stagnant water.
Right.
So, because it just can't get nowhere.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Kevin, do you want us to take each of these individually or do it at the end? Okay.
Yes.
So, Chief has presented us with the information and asked a bunch of questions. So, for this, we are asking for the total of, this is $50,800.
$50,000.
You'll see that on the end of project 3, $50,800, and this money is, could come out of qualifies to come out of the bond fund. So do I have a motion for us to take care of this matter?
So moved.
Okay, so I have a motion to, pay $50,800 out of bond fund by Alderman Alder. Second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Faulkner. Any other discussion? Debbie, call the roll.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Miss Allen? Mr. Bradford? Mr. Keenan?
Aye.
Mr. Faulkner?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
That motion carries. And we'll move to item B. This comes out to us from Public Works. This is fencing request. Director, would you like to come forth and tell us what you have?
I hope you got a PowerPoint presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. I should have went first.
Okay.
Mine's not that fancy.
Okay.
He made me want to write a check for it.
We'll take
Very
it.
good.
What we have, I know you guys remember last year, you okayed us to upgrade our Fuel Master system. So our gates are also dependent on that system. So what we're doing now, we need to, we're just leaving one gate open. We're trying to get this system we want to bring in would be one that would read, the readers actually on the windshield of our vehicles, all the city vehicles or whatever county that come in. That would open our gate and we can put it back on automatic. Right now, we're just dogging it open and, which is kind of leaving, which everything's camera, but we're pretty much unsecured there with the point we're at. So that's what I'd like to do is, do they have quotes, do they have the quote on that?
Yes, sir.
So what you're looking at is the quote for this system.
So in this, there's, Corson has provided us with two quotes, one for the card reader mechanism, $12,655, and one for the fast pass type systems, $14,995.
Right.
That's what you're requesting?
So really, the thing with the card readers, we have fire trucks coming in and out, ambulance, everybody, so the card reader, they're going to actually get out of the vehicle because the way you have to turn in, make that turn. I just think this system would be just such a better system for us. That's just my thinking.
The $14,995.
Yeah. Because then we don't, right now, we have the fobs that, for Fuel Master, but this would be another card for each vehicle that comes in, this Public Works have to keep up with as well. So this system we're talking about is basically, I don't know, like the car wash, I think they do the same thing. It's a sticker, it senses you when you pull in. Also, this system could be integrated later with security in our building. With this same system, it could read that. It'll log every vehicle. Each vehicle have its own number. It'll log each vehicle that once they come in, we know when somebody comes in and comes out. So it's a pretty good system.
Am I to understand that the gate that stays open now is broken?
It won't read with the new system it's in, so we can't, your files that used to let us in, it doesn't work with, the old files won't let us in with the new system, so they don't communicate. So right now, it's not broken, it just needs to be a reader so we can open and close it when we're not open during the day.
When somebody comes in and uses the Fuel Master, do they put an employee ID in?
Mhm.
Okay, so if you did the RFID, you're tracking the vehicle entrance, not a person. And then if they're getting fuel, you're tracking the person, not the vehicle.
Right.
Are we wanting this to come for bond too?
So after the fuel system was put in, this was not going to communicate with the current gate anyway, correct?
Right,
And this needs to be added so that both of them will
yeah, that's correct.
meld.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, this system, it's got some more beauty of it is someday down the road, we can integrate some type of keyless entry into the building itself, we can secure the building. I think it even also communicate with the same type of line that the police department has. So it's something that can integrate with the whole city. This one is kind of compatible with the technology we have with the others. So.
And we spent quite a bit of money on the Fuel Master system, so we
Yes.
want it to be protected and
Right.
everything tracking and keeping up the responsibility.
And as we move more toward fleet management, this also gives us better tracking of everything that's going on down there. Everyone that's in and out, every transaction that's made.
Any other discussion? So the request is to take out of bond fund also, for this fast pass type system, $14,995. This will be a windshield sticker, as a reader for the vehicles that come in and out, and the sticker stays with the vehicle.
Yes.
So that all of that is monitored. Your fuel is monitored on the fuel master, and the drivers and the vehicle that's receiving the fuel will be identified.
Yes.
Is the 14,000, including a stock of those
Yes,
RFIDs?
it is, Joseph. I think it's like 150 or something like that. It's enough to carry everything that we need. Sheriff's Department, our city, we should have enough to carry,
Okay,
plus some.
plus some, okay.
Yeah, and each one's
And you-
specific to the vehicle,
Yeah, and then,
not to the driver. It's vehicle specific.
are you buying the RFIDs in a lot that are tied to this, or can they all be programmed after the install?
That for the install
Okay.
program. Mhm.
I just want to make sure that when we go through the 100, that we can just buy a lot of them and they'll be fine.
Is this expense tracked back to the users outside the city, such as ambulance,
Right.
county? So they're charged for the the stickers?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. It allows anyone in after hours that is on our system.
But I mean, are they paying for that sticker to go on their vehicle, or are we paying for it?
Well, that price includes that amount of stickers. That's something we could probably do. We could charge out for the cost of the stickers. It's not a lot, but we could, yeah.
That
We
much?
could for their fleet.
Yeah, the RFID tags aren't that expensive. I think
They're
most of it
not,
comes with the
it's not
system,
really
like-
expensive for that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but it's something that could be charged back. That would be up to you guys.
If they lose them, we might want.
Yes.
That's- Yeah, we would have, maybe first time it's us, the second time, we would have
Yeah.
a replacement.
Yeah. So we need to let them know that. I mean, like you say, first time for
Yeah.
you,
And we can do that.
replacement. Yeah. Kenny, do you have a
No,
question?
yeah. Get that answer after the question.
Anybody else?
Mayor, can I add one thing?
Yes, sir.
Another concern we have, although Jack is correct, we do need to protect our investment, but we also have a personnel, a female who's on the premises in late hours in the afternoon alone, so we're also concerned about her safety as well.
So that would keep the light locked at all times?
Yes, yeah. It's totally locked once we go. Our guys leave around 2:00 with the office coordinators there until 3:30, so, and it's pretty much a long time. Of course, we have a lot of activity with the police and all, but we just, feel better if we could lock it down and authorize entrance only after all of our guys are gone.
How many RFID readers will we get?
I think it's 150.
No, I was talking about the
Oh.
actual readers themselves that's gonna be up.
That will pick up?
He said, one reader he says would pick it up.
Okay. Because we've got 3 gates, right?
Right.
And are we looking at locking it down during the day?
Yeah, so the entrance after Public Works closes is only, we have one gate for entrance, and then the other gate for exit is, there's a sensor a road sensor, so it opens by the weight of the vehicle, lets you out. Now, the main double gates is chained and locked, so the only entry point would be where the reader's at.
Right, but I guess what I'm asking, we're locking it down while y'all are actually in there during the day.
No. We'll go ahead and dog the gates open, and that's way in and out, because we're always in and out, so. But once we shut it down, we lock everything.
At 2. So when you're saying you lock it down when your staff leaves at 2,
Right.
except for?
Except for, the office coordinator. Yeah.
Make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to take the money for the Fast Pass type system, $14,995, and this will come out of the bond fund also. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I have a second by Alderman Alder. The first was by Vice Mayor Bradford. Any other discussion? Debbie, call the vote.
Miss Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Bradford?
Aye.
Mr. Keenan?
Aye.
Mr. Faulkner?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
That motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Now moving to item C, this is the CDBG grant approval amendment for matching funds. I'm going to turn this over to City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. Back in January, the board gave us authorization to look at applying for the CDBG grant application, which is going to be due on April 10th. It was initially mid-March, but they have extended it. When we approved the application, we had a resolution. Our consultant who was helping us put the application together said we needed to identify a funding source. The funding source for the CDBG will be 15%, and we needed to do a funding source. We were looking at paving to be our project that we're looking at with this grant, and we're asking for 15%. The application would be for $225,000, which 15% of that match would be $33,750. We're actually looking at bond funds also to take care of that. So we're asking the board to allow us to amend the original resolution to include that 15% match.
Is there a reason this one's got double that amount on
It's
I'm
at
sorry.
500.
here? 500.
That's, yeah.
Ah. It should not be. Let me see.
And it's got 15% up to $75,000.
No, she
What's the
sent a
first one,
sample,
33?
she sent a sample, but no, the application that we're applying is 225. That was the sample application, sample resolution. Yeah. Yeah, we're not applying for 500, so we need to correct that to be 225.
It's all going to paving.
Yes,
Can we go for 500?
Does it risk it, the way that I understood her say is it risks less award if you go,
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
So,
cool.
and there was she was trying to give us a range of
Okay.
what to do.
Okay.
and the match is, this is if we're awarded the grant. We're not taking stuff out of bond funds to.
Yes,
Okay.
if we're awarded the grant, and we should know by the end of the year whether we will receive this grant.
How did she come up with that 250 number?
So we talked, as a matter of fact, we've been over the last several weeks looking at, Jack and I, and sometimes Chrissy, have had weekly meetings, and we looked at some paving priorities. Jack had presented a list of paving projects within the zone. So we've been looking at that, and we sort of just tried to estimate the cost of paving, and we're looking at hedge mud as far as paving. And so that's kind of how we came up with that figure, as well as trying to identify what we could match.
And where's the match money coming, sorry,
Go ahead.
where's the match money
So
coming
the
from?
recommendation of this one will also be from bond
The
funds.
match,
Yes, ma'am. We were gonna apply a lot of the bonds towards paving, remaining bond funds, so this match would be inclusive of that.
And Natalia, how much did we have? Was it 210 left in bond?
It should be in your package there, Jeff.
I thought that was the number I'd seen. That's very bad.
210, 867, 10.
Okay.
Do we need to have this corrected
Yes.
before we?
And I was gonna ask with the motion to allow it to read 225 rather than 500.
is there a deadline for the, no, this is an amendment, okay, never mind, scratch that.
Was the bond originally received for infrastructure? What was the initial intent of the bond?
So the initial intent was public work projects, such as street recreation, city facilities. Can you cite it right off? Anything else I missed?
I think that's correct. It did mention infrastructure, specifically stated paving and roadways.
Right.
And any
And recreation.
On the thing, on your, in your package, you've got the original budget amount, the revised budget amounts, and the project totals. So that might kind of help you. It's recreation, some recreation, softball. So the bond itself could go up to $500,000.
The application.
Yeah, and it was always 15% match. But I'm thinking we need to pass this. Can we get these figures corrected now? Do we need to correct these now?
I think we good as long as we put it in the minutes and pass it there accordingly.
I would prefer you to read off what the correct thing is, and then we vote
Let's
what
read
is
it.
read.
Do you want to take?
Okay, no,
Because we've had that problem before, I don't want us to go down that road again.
Let's table that, move on to the next one, and then come back to it.
Unless we need Debbie for minutes. Kevin, do you want to go on to the next one, or do you want to wait on Debbie?
We can,
Okay.
and what we're looking at in the month of,
Well, we had a motion.
We're
Do we
gonna
have-
table that to, just till she comes back.
to
with
get the
the-
corrected.
To correct, get the correct paperwork. Can we do that, Johnny, or do we need
Yeah,
to
had a
just
motion.
hold off?
He made the motion? Who
You
made?
made it
did
on
you
the
make
fire
motion?
truck, no.
No, we haven't gotten that.
Okay, don't have a motion?
Yeah.
We don't?
No,
Okay.
so do you want us, Johnny, do we need to just sit till she could get back with those? with the
It'll
correct-
just be a minute.
Yeah,
I think-
okay.
I think it'd be better if we
Okay.
did.
This is original.
Yeah. 14,000.
Kevin, would they partially award a CDBG grant? Or is it all or nothing?
I think it's all or nothing. I have seen them do it in the past, but things, guidelines have changed a little bit. And when we talked with Nicole, we have had a chance, I guess every Friday for the last month, Jack and I have been on the phone. She wanted us to apply for something that would be more, that we could make it. So that's why that figure was put out there.
And they expect it to be awarded in the fall.
In the fall, yeah, sometime before we complete the year.
Thank you, I'm sorry to ask you.
no, that's no problem.
Need to be on
Okay, so this reads that the city mayor be authorized and directed to execute and submit an application for funds to the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development not to exceed $225,000. The city mayor may be authorized and directed to enter into all necessary agreements to receive and administer such grants, grant funds. The total cost of the project is not to exceed $225,000. The required local contribution will be up to 15%, and 15% would be $33,750. That will be provided by the city of Fayetteville. and that's passed on this day, March the 23rd, 2026. So, do we have any further discussion on this matter?
After all three of these, we'll still have 111,255 left in that bond fund, so still a decent amount. Off that 210 with all three of those projects.
It'd be 111.
111,255.
Okay, if no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Keenan, second.
Second.
Alderman Faulkner. Any further discussion? Did we call the vote?
Mr. Bradford?
Aye.
Mr. Keenan?
Aye.
Mr. Faulkner?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Abstain.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye. That motion carries. Now for the final item on the agenda, we're still with the city administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. The final item, we were just requesting authorization to use bond funds for all three of the items that you have just passed. As Alderman Holder just mentioned, we still would have right at $111,255?
Yes,
Okay, $255 still in the bond. One thing that we will be doing, as Natalia has taken over, we've been going through the bond, and we found out we are really have exceeded the time that we were required to spend the bond funds. So this really helps us to do what we need to do. So we're asking for a resolution to be able to spend bond funds on those three items. As you know, the money for the mesh will be retained in grant fund in case we receive the CDBG. If not, it will be returned towards the bond funds. So we're asking for a resolution to spend money on these three items.
So, get the time frame to spend the bond money?
So
Can you
we're
address-
finding out that we're just really have exceeded. So we have been advised that we really need to look at spending within the next several months.
Okay.
However, we know it's not going to be realistically, but that's just what has been given to us. And we plan to bring some of that information through in the in the April cycle.
Okay.
So, we're not addressing what we're gonna spend the 111 on at
No,
this
that's
time.
still-
It's just if we take these three out of the current bond balance,
210, yes.
that'll leave 111.
Right, correct.
And then at a further date, we will look at addressing depleting these funds because the
Correct.
bond does have a shelf life
That's correct.
and we have exceeded that shelf life.
Yes.
So if we've exceeded the shelf life, obviously, we get to fall and we don't get the CDBG grant, 75, or was it 33,000 goes, where does it go? Does it go back to bond and we can't bring it back? Or does it?
No, you can, it
You
just goes
can.
back in the
It just
bond.
goes back into the bond. You
Okay,
can.
so
We
what's
don't
the shelf
receive-
life of the usage of
We
bond?
just need to get it gone, is what he's saying.
Okay.
We don't lose it
We
yet,
don't
but
lose it.
Okay, that's what,
We-
when,
yeah.
okay, the way that I took shelf life is that we lose it.
No,
Okay,
no. It'll just be returned to our bond balance.
okay, got it.
Okay, any further discussion on this? Does this need a vote, Kevin, for,
I would do an official resolution. Official vote.
official vote?
Yes.
So the votes for the prior thing have already been voted on?
Correct.
And then we're gonna vote on it again?
Just to move it for an accounting purpose.
Okay. I mean, I'm not really sure how that should read. How should we state that? If we've already approved it on each item,
Well, I know, the resolution that we just passed, I don't think it specifically says we're using bond funds. I mean, maybe you talked about that along the way. So why don't we just make a motion that for each of the three items we passed tonight, the cost to the city will be paid for the bond funds.
okay. I just didn't wanna do it twice and it looked like Okay, so tonight, we've had 3 previous items on the agenda. One has been the water drainage issue at the fire department, Station 2, and that correction was 50,000, will be, the cost on that, estimates that we got, 50,800. Then we also passed,
I left off at 800, so that number wasn't gonna be right. My number was 50,000, so still
Oof,
close.
that changes
but-
everything, Jeff.
What happens if it comes out on the low end?
All right, so we're gonna take, okay, so we'll go from that. So that's 50,800. Then our second item that we approved tonight was to pay $14,995 for a fast pass type system that will be windshield stickers, RFIDs, and that amount, like I stated, is $14,995. And we approved to take that out of the bonds. Then the third item that we approved tonight was Resolution R 2026-09, and that was for the match agreement, the match money that we would pay on the CDBG grant if it was awarded to us in the amount of $33,750. With the discussion and the motion that was made, this amount is to also come out of the bond fund. Currently, our bond fund stands at $210,867.10. And is that all I need in this motion? And the remaining funds would be, look to be spent at a future date, assumed future date. Is that okay? Okay. So we got that. Debbie, we call it?
Oh, we need motions.
Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Alder,
Second.
second by Alderman Keenan. Any discussion? I knew that you would do that to me. Okay, any further discussion? Debbie, call the vote.
Mr. Keenan?
Aye.
Mr. Faulkner?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Abstain.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Bradford?
Aye.
That motion carries. That concludes our special call meeting for tonight, and this meeting is adjourned.